Good evening. Thank you for waiting for a long time. Actually, we are still waiting for our colleagues from Nuclear and Industrial Safety Agency, NISA, and maybe until they arrive, I wish to discuss some of the issues which may not be, directly or technically dealt with in terms of this Fukushima power plants. At the outset, I wish to just explain to you the overall picture of what we have been trying to do at the Prime Minister's office under the leadership of Prime Minister Khan. Immediately after earthquakes took place, Prime Minister organized emergency headquarters consisting of all the ministers, and he has been putting his utmost efforts to rescue those people who are in the affected areas. And as you have seen already, especially by the tsunamis, we have been finding some local municipalities almost wiped out. And this has led to lots of difficulties in finding, who are missing or who might be, dead by now. So this kind of situation continues even now. So far, we have been mobilizing under the instruction of Prime Minister Khan, self-defense forces over 50,000. And this number is expected to increase up to 100,000 within a week. And this is the largest mobilization of self-defense forces in the history of its creation after the war. And other mobilization includes Japanese Coast Guard's 168 patrol boats, police agency 3,600, Fire and Disaster Management Agency over 1,100. So, and Prime Minister Khan yesterday mentioned that earlier maybe today mentioned that more than 15,000 people are rescued thanks to the dedicated efforts of those people. In some cases, risking their own lives. And there will be probably some explanation from my colleague from Foreign Ministry, but we have been getting a very generous offer of assistance from the international community. And the number has exceeded over 90 countries offering their willingness to extend assistance. And we are very grateful for this generous offer extended from the over 90 countries. And so far, rescue teams from 13 countries, including South Korea, Singapore, Germany, Switzerland, the United States, China, Mexico, UK, Australia, New Zealand, France, Taiwan, and Russia, started assistance activities. And as you are already aware, U.S. forces in Japan have been mobilized, and aircraft carrier Ronald Reagan has been mobilized to the vicinity of Tohoku. And U.S. Marines in Okinawa are also on their way to the region. They have their particular strength in terms of coping with this kind of very difficult situation in terms of amphibious situation. And let me also touch upon the economic implications. We are aware of difficulties facing Japanese economy, and of course there are practical issues of how to manage electricity supply in Tohoku and Kanto. And we are calling for reducing the consumption of electricity among the public. And as you have been informed, there are trains that were cancelled this morning in the suburbs of Tokyo, for example. So this is a very challenging situation, but at the same time, this would result in the creation of new demands. Obviously, there will be massive needs for rebuilding and reconstruction, and this is something that we need to be united among the people living in this country, including Japanese and non-Japanese. Again, let me just thank the generous offer, not only from the governments of over 90 foreign countries, but there are lots of goodwill expressed from people all over the world and NGOs as well. So this is my initial comment, and I will just ask my colleagues from Foreign Ministry to see if they have any comments to make at the outset. Thank you.
Thank you. I just would like to add compliment what was stated by Mr. Shikata right now. As Mr. Shikata mentioned, we are very, very grateful for the generous goodwills and expression of solidarity from all over the world. And indeed, many sympathies have been expressed. And so far, for example, Prime Minister Khan had telephone talk with President Obama, and likewise, our Foreign Minister Matsumoto also had telephone talks with his counterpart, Secretary of State, Mrs. Clinton, and also Prime Minister Khan had telephone talk with President Lee Myung-bak of the Republic of Korea, and also with Prime Minister Gillard of Australia. And with respect to Foreign Minister Matsumoto, in addition to his telephone talk with Secretary Clinton, he also had telephone talk with Foreign Secretary Haig of the United Kingdom, Secretary of State Clinton, Foreign Minister Rudd of Australia, as well as Foreign Minister Mackley of New Zealand. And the latest information available in front of me with respect to the number of countries which generously extended preparedness to extend assistance is 91. And in addition, a number of international organizations have already expressed their willingness to support the rescue and search operations. For example, I would like to mention ICRC, IOM, which is International Organization for Migration, ITU, OCHA, UNHCR, as well as UNESCO, UNICEF, WFP, and World Bank. So we are very grateful. And I also would like to touch upon some details as to the activities of rescue team which have already arrived in Japan. For example, with respect to the United States, yesterday afternoon, as many as 144 personnel of the rescue team of the USAID, United States International Organization for Development, Authority for Development, arrived in Misawa, together with together with their rescue dogs. And they are scheduled to head to Ofunato in Iwate Prefecture this morning. That was the schedule. That had been scheduled. What's going to happen today? And likewise, with respect to Korea, their rescue team arrived yesterday, just after noon, in Hanamaki, and on the same on the afternoon of the same day, they moved to Sendai to initiate their operation. I understand that they have started their activities from this morning. And with respect to Singaporean rescue team, they have arrived on the date of 12th. Their team consists of 5 members, together with 5 rescue dogs. And they arrived in Narita, and thereafter they have headed for Tajima City. And we understand that they have arrived their destination already. And with respect to German rescue team, they have arrived on the date of 13 yesterday in the early morning in Narita, and they consist of 41 personnel as well as 3 rescue dogs. And we understand that they have already arrived in Miyagi Prefecture to start their activities. And as to the rescue team of Switzerland, the team consists of 27 personnel, and also include as well as a number of rescue dogs. And in addition, we understand that rescue teams of Mexico, China, Australia, UK, and New Zealand have already arrived. And we understand that additional rescue teams are scheduled to arrive today from, for example, New Zealand, France, and some others. That's all at this point in time. Thank you.
Yes, and I will brief you on the latest development on the nuclear power plants. Probably many of you are already aware that after the Unit 1 of the Fukushima Daiichi power plant, which had a hydrogen explosion on Saturday, on 12th, there was an explosion earlier today at around 11:01 at unit number 3 of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. We understand that taking into the situation of today's explosion at unit number 3, that explosion today was probably similar to the one that occurred at unit 1 on Saturday, that is to say a hydrogen explosion. However, after this happened, there was a report from the people on the ground that the containment vessel continues to be continued to be containing the activities inside, as a sign of such continuation, the situation, particularly the result of the monitoring of any radioactive materials in the site or around that place has not shown any particular increase after this has happened. Also, the pressure level within the containment vessel has not shown any significant change after this has happened earlier today. And also, there was a report in the afternoon that the level of water in the unit number 2 of the Fukushima Daiichi power plant began to decrease. And the preparation is made to put more water into Unit 2, possibly including seawater. And as for the evacuation around the Fukushima Daiichi power plant, the 20-kilometer radius areas evacuation has been declared. At the time of the incident happened earlier today at unit number 3, there were still people within this 20-kilometer radius, and for those people, temporarily they were requested to stay indoors instead of going outside of a 20-kilometer radius. But that request for stay in the in-house has been released at 14:20. So now we are in the process of again moving people out of the 20-kilometer radius evacuation zone. And as for the unit number 2, we understand that the situation has been, or the level of the water has not been decreasing compared to number 1 and number 3 up until today. However, there is now the decreasing of the water in Unit 2, for which efforts has been made to increase the level of water in the unit number 2. And as for the incident at unit number 2, there were people injured. From total, we understand 11 people. 4 of them are related to the self-defense forces, and whom injury level is not so severe. And among the remaining 7 people who are related to the Tokyo Electric Power Company, TEPCO, 1 person was rather seriously injured but conscious, and for the other 6, we do not have detailed information here. And as for the number 1 and number 2, number 1 and number 3, as I said, particularly after today's incident at number 3, we do not recorded any significant increase in the figures that we are monitoring in order to measure the any possible radioactivities in the site. So we do not record it. We do not record any significant increase in that regard. And as for the again on the unit number 3, we have had the effort to put water into that unit. And after the hydrogen explosion today, we heard that activities has been suspended. However, the effort is being made to restart the injection of water into the unit number 3. We are still waiting for the updated information from the people from Nuclear and Industrial Safety Agency, but that is probably what I have to say at the beginning of this briefing.
Just a moment, please. Okay. Now, the Q&A session. And we will receive questions from friends of the Foreign Press Corps first. And would you please raise your hand, and when recognized, please give us your name and affiliation before you ask a question. Please. Lori-san.
Anthony Rowley, Singapore Business Times. And this is obviously a very critical situation. What do you think will be the next steps? I mean, the situation seems to be only partly stabilized. What do you have to do? What has to be done to stabilize it to the point where, you know, one can say that a calamity has been avoided? And as far as cooperation with other nationalities, experts on nuclear power are concerned, are they actually involved in at the power station, or are they simply giving advice from a distance, as it were?
Sorry, could you repeat the second part of your question?
You know, there are various international experts here in Japan that have come from other countries. Are they actually involved on the site in Fukushima, or are they just giving advice from a distance? I'm not quite clear about that.
As for what has to be done, the very important thing is to cool the fuel rod assemblies, which actually, if I go back to the point where this earthquake happened, at the moment when this earthquake happened, which was actually a huge magnitude now it is said 9.0, which means that it is the largest ever earthquake, at least scientifically observed in this country. And I understand that this magnitude counts among the probably top 5 or so of the internationally recorded earthquake. At the time of the earthquake, the immediate action to stop the operation of the reactors was taken. That is the immediate stop of the operating reactors at the first point. So the operation at that time has been immediately shut down. What we are now going through is the phase of cooling down the units which have been operating at the time. And during the cooling situation, we are facing difficulties in some of the units, as I described. So the most important thing is to try to put enough water into these units in order to cool these units as quickly as possible. And measures have been taken by our experts to do so as quickly as possible. As for your second question, I think it is best refer that question to our nuclear and industrial safety agency people when they arrive. But we understand that there are, of course, constant flow of information going out from the experts to international experts. But I'm not quite aware whether there are international experts on the site or not.
Can I just quickly ask you a follow-up? Is there a contingency plan? If the cooling fails for any reason, what happens next? I mean, is there a contingency plan for sealing the whole thing off in some way? I mean, what happens next?
Yes. What I'd like to stress is that the containment vessel continues to hold quite tightly. And as we progress with our activity of cooling all the units, we are making some progress towards putting enough water into some of units. Of course, some of the units have been experiencing difficulties in it. However, what we are trying to do is to go through this situation in a controlled manner and to contain any further worsening of the situation. And I understand that in the face of this difficult situation, the experts on the ground have been implementing all possible measures they can find and trying to make progress towards better situation. So to go back to your first point, what we have been doing is that we understand that we have been continuing with the situation in a contained manner, and we would like to stress that as for now, the situation we are witnessing is certainly difficult, but all measures have been taken to cope with that situation.
Hi, Terrell Jones with Reuters. One quick question, and then a bit of a longer one. The quick question is just, do you have the details of the Chinese rescue personnel that have come out? Where are they, and what specifically are they doing? And my broader question is, with the shutdown of the reactors in Fukushima, what percentage of Japan's electricity capacity has been lost because of that? And how, besides the temporary blackouts that Tokyo Denryoku is doing right now, what other power sources and to what extent are you turning, such as hydropower or thermal power? Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. I'd like to respond to your question about Chinese assistance. My understanding is that the Chinese rescue team arrived Haneda yesterday around 12:30. And it is also my understanding that the team consists of 15 personnel, and they were to arrive at Ofunato city of Iwate Prefecture. Ofunato of Iwate Prefecture late last evening. And I understand that they were to initiate their activity early this morning. Well, I don't have precise information as to the specific area of their activity.
As for your second question, according to the question is not only how much percentage is lost, rather the question is within the area of the kind of the responsibility of each electric power company, how much power can be provided in terms of the daily need. That also goes back to a rather basic system in Japan in which we have a rather different type of electricity frequencies in the eastern half of Japan and western half of Japan. So, for example, we understand that within the eastern area, for example, between Tokyo Electric Power Company, TEPCO, and Tohoku Electric Power Company, it could be possible to divert electricity in one area to the other. But beyond this east-west line, it would be technical difficulties to provide a lot of electricity. We have means to convert that difference, but I understand the amount of electricity that can be provided beyond east-west is rather limited. And what happens today is that as of today, the estimate by the Tokyo Electric Power Company is that it may be that up to 10 million kilowatt deficiency might occur. As for today, it is said that they can provide up to 37 million kilowatt today. However, they estimated that today's demand might go up to 41 million kilowatt. Actually, I think what happened today, the difference was not so big in the sense that we did not have, in some of the regions which were expected to have controlled blackout, we did not have such measures taken. So it depends on the level of the possible electricity supply each day, and in terms of what can be provided, that should be measured in terms of the demand on that particular day, because we cannot store the electricity so easily. So it fluctuates from day to day.
Well, I mean, is there like Japan has 10% less or 15% or 8% or less?
Yeah, on that point, probably I refer to my colleagues who just arrived, or his colleagues. Sorry, let me just. 今日東電のこれは分かったんですけれども、送料の何パーセントかっていうのがちょっと私これもし分からなければ後で答えるとする。そうですね。はい。もう一つの福島には現場には国際的な方がいるのかな。それは先ほど私に答えてます。あ、そうですか。はい。Sorry, we just yes. はい。あ。はいはい。Okay. We are actually having not one but two experts joining us right now.
最初のやつは何だか。
電力総量の何パーセントもおっしゃいました。今これを元にしては説明をしたんですけれども、 結果として総量の何パーセントをおっしゃる
これが何パーセントかって
これがというよりは今回の事故によって総量の何パーセントが失われたか。
入ってる？入ってないでしょ。電力総量の何パーセントかって
4100のうち 1000じゃないですかね。約1000。
いや何パーセントかって
何パーセント。
これは東電の管内だけなんですが、今は総量のいくらかですから、もし今この場で分からなければ後ほど答えていただければと思います。発電総量の何パーセントに当たるかということです。
おそらく1割ぐらいだと思うんですけど。
そこはちょっと後で。
はい、わかりました。はい。
あと地元には国際的な専門家が入ってるのかって入ってるの？
いや福島のその現場に。
現場はまだ
いないですね。いないですね。
どうした？
Just to answer to your question that we couldn't answer, yes, up until now, the international experts are not on site. And as for the percentage of the electricity lost in total Japanese production, they will go back to check the exact figure and come back to you.
It was said at a briefing at the U.S. Embassy today that some European embassies had advised their nationals to leave Japan. My question, there seems to be some confusion over what would happen if the situation gets worse at Fukushima for any reason. Is there a system of warnings in place that would be given, or would you widen the evacuation area? What would happen if the situation didn't respond favorably to your attempts to cool?
To your question, I would like first of all to stress that what is now being done in terms of the distance from the Fukushima Daiichi power plant is that the decision has been made to evacuate people from the 20-kilometer radius zone. And for the Fukushima Daiichi power plant, from the 10-kilometer radius zone. And these measures has been taken in order to allow enough level of confidence in the safety of the people in the region. And, well, if there is any new development that may require any change to this situation, that will be announced by the government. However, we do not have at this time any reason to change the current situation. Of course, all the effort is being made to monitor the situation very closely. And you may have noticed that the Chief Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Edano, has been making very frequent press briefing, sometimes especially on the nuclear issue. And we are, and our colleagues have been trying to provide the information as quickly as possible and as accurately as possible. So please rest assured that if ever any change might become necessary, that will be announced immediately. However, I would like to stress again that we are at this moment not witnessing the reason to change the current measure.
I just wanted to follow up again on the rebalancing of power requirements, because I spoke with somebody from, what is it called? I'm sorry, the Dendyoku Jigyo Renmei or Rengo or something. I'm sorry, I don't have the exact name, who said that power is being transferred, extra power is being taken from other sources, thermal and hydro, and he didn't have details on that, and I just wondered if anybody does have details, can tell us how much power, et cetera. Also, I just didn't quite understand what you were saying about the 37 million kilowatts and et cetera. You were saying that it could reach that amount, but I'm not sure if that's, what is the normal capacity of those plants by comparison with the figures you gave? Thank you.
Yes, sorry. When I explained the capacity, I was talking about the capacity of the electricity that TEPCO can provide today. According to their estimate, what TEPCO could provide today, so the maximum supply that TEPCO could provide today was estimated at 37 million kilowatt against the possible maximum demand for today of 41 million kilowatt. And if you look at these two figures, you would say that there is no difference of 10 million kilowatt. It is only 4 million. But it would depend on the current situation of the demand, how they use the electricity hour by hour. So it was estimated that at the maximum, 10 million kilowatt shortage might happen beginning today. So it is not only for today. And as for the measures to divert more electricity from other sources, I think it would be good if we check that fact and come back to you later, if there is someone else who can answer that question right now. Otherwise, we will come back to you later on that detail too, with the figure, total figure.
I think Nuclear and Industry Safety Agency colleagues have arrived, and they are ready to explain to you, maybe in brief manner, initial explanation.
So today we prepared some materials. One of them are already on our website, NISA, and now, how can I say, going to be on our homepage. And another one is some kind of a fact sheet concerning this Tohoku-Pacific Earthquake and Fukushima nuclear power plant event. So at first, we'd like to very briefly explain our press release documents.
I'm very sorry for being late. Also, we'd like to show our appreciation to have this opportunity to explain this situation. I'd like to explain briefly about the seismic damage information as of 07:30 today. Sorry for this time that is a bit late. However, we need to translate, so please allow me to show this data. This paper is just facts data. So if you want to know about the process or more detailed situation, you can see another paper. Receiving the big earthquake, some of nuclear power units are affected. There are 3 nuclear power stations around the area damaged by this big earthquake. The first one is Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station, as you all know. And second one is Fukushima Daiichi power station. And third one is Onagawa nuclear power station. Also, there are 13 nuclear power units in these 3 stations. In the first nuclear power station, that is Fukushima Daiichi, there are 6 nuclear power units. As for these 6 units, three of them were under periodic inspection outage, and the last 3 units have automatically shut down. That is unit 1, 2, 3. And the data or readings at monitoring points is, you can see the next page. I want to show the highest level of monitoring post, and you can see 680 microsievert per hour at monitoring point 2, and the time was 3:50 today. That is this morning, early morning today. The data was 680 microsievert per hour. However, I need to explain that after that, there was an explosion at the unit 3. So we need to understand this data is that which is before the explosion today. I'd like to report concerning other modification that is mentioned in 4. There was no fire report notified to NISA. However, after the occurrence of earthquake, there were many chronologies and process, and those will be explained later in more detail. Let me explain the situation of Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station. That is a second area damaged by earthquake. There are 4 nuclear power units in this station, and all of these 4 units have automatically shut down. Also, readings at monitoring point is 0.042 microsievert at the highest monitoring point. That is, you can see 0.042 in monitoring point 5. This is the highest data, highest value of data. Then not so high level compared to those of Fukushima Daiichi. Also, this is report concerning other modification. We cannot find fire, and that is reported to NISA. And lastly, I want to mention about Onagawa nuclear power station. There are 3 units. Also, all 3 units have automatically shut down. And the data monitoring point 2 was approximately 10,000 nano. Wait a moment, sorry. Sorry for that. Gray per hour. So these are the brief situation of these power stations. Also, I want to mention about the explosion caused by hydrogen at Unit 3. Please look at this piece of paper. We prepared this paper to explain the situation of that. And as you know, there was an explosion at 11:01 today. Now, the plant status is, as I say from now, after the hydrogen explosion at 11:01, pressure fluctuation in the containment vessel was observed. Afterward, the pressure is becoming stable. It is considered that the vessel maintains its function of confinement. Fuel cooling status is under confirmation. Also, as for the evacuation of local residents, the number of the residents within 20-kilometer radius from Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station waiting for evacuation or evacuating is 483 in total at 14:20 today. This is also under confirmation. After the explosion at Unit 3, the residents were requested to shelter inside, but afterward, the evacuation to outside of the 20-kilometer area was resumed. Lastly, I want to mention about the status of the injured. According to the report from TEPCO, the number of the persons injured in the explosion is 11 as of 16. Thank you.
So next, please look at this material. This is some kind of a fact sheet we have just prepared today. And the first page, in the earthquake-relating Tohoku Kanto area, there are several nuclear power stations. And in these materials, 4 power stations are described. And 11 nuclear reactors, except for 3 reactors which were under periodic inspection, are automatically halted. So 11 nuclear reactors are automatically halted. And the next page describes the outline of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station. And maybe my podium back here is colleague Mitsu Ichikawa explained to you all the nuclear power unit type are BWR, boiling water reactors. And some kind of structure describes the lower figure. So that composed of concrete building housing and containment vessel and pressure vessels which contain nuclear fuel inside. And the next page, some brief description concerning events happened at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. Unit 1, an explosion caused by hydrogen buildup blew the upper part of a concrete building housing. What was occurring in the reactor was not the so-called meltdown. Its containment vessels were not damaged by the explosion. And after the automatic halt of the reactor, water supply function run by a seawater pump failed by tsunami. And the temperature of the reactor went up. As you know, March 12th, 1536, water levels dropped. Reactive metal and water generated hydrogen, and hydrogen which leaked outside of the containment vessel caused the explosion. And cesium and iodine were detected. It is believed that a part of nuclear fuel was damaged, and a small amount of nuclear material was leaked into the water. However, this was not the so-called meltdown, which means that whole reactor melts down. So it is confirmed that the containment vessel had not been damaged. There is no risk of a hydrogen explosion because there is no oxygen in the containment vessel. So there is no risk of leaking large amount of nuclear material. So concerning Unit 2, the current situation is changing, so we'd like to wait the latest report. Maybe our agency doing in Japanese in how can I say soon, I think. Concerning Unit 3, an explosion caused by hydrogen built up blew the concrete building housing which is same process as Unit 1. And also its containment vessel were not damaged. So according to a fixed point observation, 34.2 microsievert per hour at 1312 on March 14th. And the evacuation area is 20 kilometers from Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station. And 11 injured. It does not include. Evacuation area does not include the metropolitan area. Thank you. That's all.
OK、じゃあ
Malcolm Foster of the AP. Do any of the employees at the reactors or any residents show symptoms of radiation sickness? And can you elaborate also on the injury? We heard that one is rather seriously injured. What kind of injuries? And does that person have show signs of radiation sickness?
As for the injured, I explained there were 11, and the detail of 11 is 4 people in Ministry of Defense. Also 7 people who were working in TEPCO. That is, there were 6 workers TEPCO in those 11. Also, the report that one person is seriously damaged. I think she has already explained. However, we have same information, and it is reported that one person of TEPCO is seriously.
I don't think
still we don't have
any evidence of radiation exposure for those people. Of course, we are looking into the conditions of those people, 11 injuries. But as far as we understand, this is as a result of blast that took place early this morning, and we would continue to follow possible implications, but we have not found any evidence of radiation exposures as a result of explosion that took place for the unit number 3 this morning.
Wojciech Lorenz, Polish Daily Rzeczpospolita. I would like to move to the people who are in community centers, thousands of people that lost their houses and some of them families. What help can they count? Is there any special help offered to them? Thank you.
Well, there are issues of helping them with, of course, food and drinks, and for example, toilets. And we are distributing those fundamentally necessary materials to those people who have been evacuated. And as of now, we have been making our utmost efforts, but we are aware of the need to do more.
Any long-term plan, like housing?
Well, as far as housing issues are concerned, when we are talking about residents, for example, who have been damaged by tsunamis, for example, they would require fundamental reconstruction of their houses. And as we have seen in the case of Hanshin-Awaji earthquakes in Kobe, around Kobe, we have seen the cases that it took a few years at least to reconstruct housing facilities. So there would be the need for temporary, shelter for those people who have their houses destroyed, and then the next stage would be what to do with their original residents, and there will be lots of requirements for those reconstructions.
Thank you. I'm Dahono from Kompas Daily Indonesia. I would like to ask two questions. The first is, how big is the damage caused by the electrical power shortage to the Japan economy? And second is that the NISA saying that a small amount of radioactive material was leaked into the core cooling water. Is that water is spilled into the sea, and was it contaminated the sea also, and the fish maybe inside the water, and maybe the fisheries product from around the power plants? Thank you.
As for your first question, I understand it's the impact on the Japanese economy. In the short term, we are aware that, for example, if the continuation of this controlled blackout continues, it will inevitably affect certain part of our daily life and our economic activities. On the other hand, and at the same time, we do not know yet the total magnitude of the damage caused to some of the local communities in the Tohoku region, because some of the local communities have difficulties in communicating the level of damage to the central authorities. And we cannot deny that in the short term, it will affect the Japanese economy. At the same time, in the medium to longer term, there would be other aspects in the process of recovering from the damage caused by this earthquake. I think it's too early to say for certain what kind of impact this earthquake and tsunami might have on the Japanese economy in overall and in long term. What we can say is that for now, we are still trying to assess, first of all, how many people can be still rescued. And we are still at that stage. The earthquake and tsunami occurred on Friday. We are still on Monday. The first priority for us right now is to concentrate on search and rescue, and also, as Mr. Shikata said, to provide the basic necessity to the people affected. At the same time, the government has to look at a longer-term reconstruction, and in that process, we will know probably in the very long future the total assessment of this very tragic event, but we cannot say any calculation right now. I think if anyone says that we have this calculation, I think it is still too premature to say that.
The second question. The second question concerning seawater. The seawater which was poured into our containment vessel is remain inside. So we keep the seawater inside the containment vessel. So we have not received any report which said such kind of seawater includes nuclear materials were spilled into the sea. We have not received.
Just one quick confirmation, and then I have a question, but I just wanted to make sure that if you could just nod your head. It's Mr. Noriyuki Shikata is your name, right? And is it Ichiko Tomihara?
Oh. No, Tomiko Ichikawa.
Tomiko, all right.
Yes.
A little dyslexic there. Ichikawa and Takeshi Matsunaga. Is that right? And I'm sorry, could these two gentlemen give us their names and titles, and then I actually do have a question. But let me just say the question is, you talked about the hydrogen explosion that blew off you said a concrete structure around the vessel. This is the picture that we've seen on TV, and you have a picture of it here with the wooden frame remaining. Can you describe just what that is and what we're looking at? Because was it concrete that was blown away, but the wooden frame remained? Or was it just panels that were covering the wooden frame that were blown away? Because I'm wondering why the frame is there if it was, a strong explosion. Or so if you could describe just what we're seeing there.
Those which were blown away was steel and concrete materials, materials made by steel and concrete, rather than wood, not wood. Panel made by steel and concrete.
And their function is decoration cover?
No. Those panels were expected to keep some contaminated anything inside the building. But that is, as you know, in the nuclear power stations, there are multi-layered safety functions, and the panel is one of such multi-layered functions. That is, in the center of reactor there is a core reactor, and that is covered by pressure vessel, and those are also covered by containment vessel, and also this is covered by building. And this panel of building was blown out. However, containment method is still solid and stable. And I'm Ken Morita, International Press Officer of Nuclear and Industrial Safety Agency, NISA, METI. Thank you.
My name is Morikuni Makino. The same title, International Press Officer of NISA.
You're based where? You're based in Tokyo or
in Tokyo? Kasumigaseki.
Next door.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the Foreign Press Center and for the officials who came here to brief us at this very critical moment. I think that the foreign press benefits a great deal from your efforts, so thank you. But I do have one small complaint, and that's that, as Ms. Ichikawa mentioned, Chief Cabinet Secretary Mr. Edano has been very active and in front of the Japanese media for many hours, and he's been out in the public. We've seen him on television. But to my knowledge, the foreign press is not allowed to participate in those press conferences. So I hope that we'll be able to get even more timely information, especially those of us who know Japanese, by being able to participate in some of those directly in those press conferences in the future. Thank you.
Well, let me just make a comment. Actually, what's been happening is Mr. Edano was giving press conferences like 5 a.m. Or after midnight, and whenever we receive some information that requires attention of the public, we always try to come up with a press conference and give the press conferences by Chief Cabinet Secretary. And during the weekends, we are working all through the weekends, and we don't know when is the time to have a press conference. And we would be I wish that we could alert you, but in many cases 5 minutes later we would hold the press conferences, and then those people who are stationed inside Prime Minister's office are physically possible to come. But like today, as you know very well, there are regular press conferences conducted at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. and you're most welcome to come and ask questions in Japanese. Yes.
Well, thank you very much. That's new information to me.
If you have a Foreign Ministry's press pass already, good. Thank you.
Just to follow up to what I asked earlier, and you responded that there was no evidence of radiation exposure. Do you mean dangerous levels of? Because we're all exposed to radiation, and even
talking about,
I believe Edano-san too said that radiation levels had briefly risen above legal limits.
We are talking about the proof that there was a harmful radiation exposure. Of course, because of venting, there have been release of a small amount of radiation. Yes.
Okay. And there's no sign of any residents so far with dangerous levels.
We have not heard any cases of such.
Yeah. You may have heard that there was some exposure, but we understand that so far what have been reported is all having had some small amount of materials going on to their clothes and so on. But so far we have received no report of the dangerous level of any contamination.
I'm not an expert at all in nuclear radiation. So what is for a layman, what is a dangerous level? What is the key kind of number? You had several numbers here that I didn't understand.
Probably. Let me see one thing.
Thank you for question. Please give us a little bit time to confirm it. So we hope to answer it in detail in the future.
Yes. What I would say, as kind of non-expert to level of understanding, is that what Mr. Edano said in his yesterday's press brief, what is that at that time of yesterday, when the level of the radiation detected was rather higher in the process, still, even if in that level, which was probably the almost highest amount recorded on the site, I understand, even if people stayed on the spot for about 1 hour, it would have amounted to the X-ray examination, 3 times X-ray examination. For example, it was one example mentioned by Mr. Edano yesterday, and its amount was that level of the monitoring figure was, according again to his yesterday's press briefing, rather temporary, in the sense that by the time he made his press briefing yesterday, that level has lowered to the level of, for example, flying from Tokyo to New York in an airplane. That was one of the examples that Mr. Edano explained yesterday.
Well, it'd be good if I could get a number later, what this dangerous level is.
I'm sorry, the equivalent flying from New York to Tokyo is, or Tokyo to New York, is equivalent exposure to?
Yes. It is from his yesterday's press briefing, not today's. But what he said was that the maximum figure at that time, what he mentioned, was 1,557 microsievert per hour. And he compared that figure with the X-ray examination of stomach, which is about 600 microsievert. So even if people stayed at that place for even 1 hour, it was about 3 times the X-ray radiation. And the figure that Mr. Edano compared later is that 184.1 microsievert per hour at that time, and he compared that to the level of flying from Tokyo to New York per airplane, which is, according to yesterday's press briefing by Mr. Edano, about 200 microsievert. After that, I have to leave my experts to explain.
And also, please have a look at the sentences in this sheet. That is, you can see the explanation in the page 4 of this material. Current situation and second hyphen, according to fixed point observation, blah, blah, blah. That is really what she has explained now. Current situation, page 4. Sorry, we do not have time to stamp page. However, you can stage 4.
And that's exposure at the monitoring point after the hydrogen explosion, where there was a little bit of extra radiation in the air. Is that the point at which the levels?
これそうですよね。これそうですよね。これ今ですよね。これ今日のあれの後ですよね。
Yeah, after.
これ言ったのが。
I'm looking at the paper. The explosion took place on 11:01 today.
Yeah,
Then
that's right.
following were the monitoring.
This data is after the explosion. But Ms. Ichikawa mentioned about Mr. Etono's mentioning, so that's on March 13th.
Yes, when Mr. Aidano explained this as comparison, it was on 13th, so it was yesterday. So today's figure is lower than.
He was talking about
More higher level.
the figures that were higher, but it was after Saturday's.
Yes.
Yes.
So he said anybody who was nearby the area after Saturday's explosion had this kind of exposure, but it's not very high.
That's right.